if you're in Singapore, of which or Tokyo, these ones in Asia and the Middle East that I pulled in and out of Philippines as a young naval officer. These big cargo ships, and even sometimes naval vessels, although they hate doing it, you have to take on a pilot. They don't let, if you've seen those massive cargo ships, those cargo ships are under, and until they get to kind of the open ocean or to where Baltimore Harbor gets into the Chesapeake Bay, they have a pilot on board. That is, these things are crewed by like 15 or 20 people, those massive ships. But you have a pilot. That pilot it's a union. They're very specialized. They know that harbor. And also, you're not just under full power. Now, you're not going full power, but you have all the boilers, or you have your gas turbines. Everything's up. Everything's online. You can, on a moment's notice, flip, but you also have backup generators. When you're in tight quarters like that, you have backup generators, and the pilots know this. As soon as they come on board, you go through a whole checklist. And I believe the pilots are taken on board right at dockside. They don't come alongside the ship. They come alongside the ship when you're coming in. But when you're leaving, you go up, and that is a standard evolution that you go through. And these pilots have been doing this. These guys are experienced. They're not kids. These are very experienced people. You go through the entire checklist, and you make sure the backup generators are on. So if you lose power in the tight quarters, it's not catastrophic. You can have a catastrophic loss of power, but you immediately have a backup generator that gives you a modicum of steerage and engine power. And here's what I don't get. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just looking at that chart and looking at the thing. The guy, somehow it turned in right into the bridge, stanchion, or the major part of the bridge. It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the pilot has got to be grilled here. It just makes no sense. You have a train, and it was clear night with no wind, because you see the freeboard on that ship, you could get blown over, but it looked like no wind. A beautiful clear night, so there's no fog. And I understand, ships lose power. The backup systems on these things, because remember, to the economics of it, they only have 20 guys on board. And to be brutally frank, a lot of the captains on the ships are not like Lord Horatio Nelson, okay? We used to see them in the open ocean all the time, and hey, they don't follow the rules of the road. You got to move out of the way of them. But when you're in tight quarters in these major industrial ports, right, like coming into the ports in New Jersey that form New York Harbor, or coming into Baltimore, or coming into like Tampa or L.A., San Pedro in L.A., or all the parts in Asia. Europe I'm not familiar with. I didn't sail there. But it just makes, there's something, you had a pilot on board, you had a clear night. Of course, you had a catastrophic loss of power. The lights went down. You can see it try to come back on if you watch the night thing. But the system's got redundancies. It has redundancies specifically for this type of thing happening. And then you got the ability, you could drop an anchor and just stop the thing. You might tear the front of the vessel out, but at least you're not going to take down a bridge. It's something is very suspect about this. And particularly if you look at the chart, if you look at and I think Daily Mail's got it up, somehow they turn toward, the one thing you wouldn't do is turn towards and say, well, they lost power and lost control. Hey, there's a backup generator that's giving it's giving steerage. It's giving your rudders power. And you're telling me you lost main propulsion, you lost all electric, and then you lost the backup? Somebody's got to walk me. Some Admiralty board's got to look at that like immediately, because I ain't buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
This system's set up for redundancy and set up for it. So I'm not saying it's terrorism, but these people that jump in, it's not terrorism right away. Whoa. Let's just get the facts here. This is what I love about the MAGA movement. We ain't buying anything. We want to see the receipts, right? And I'm telling you right now, the receipts on this kind of stink. They doesn't stink to high heaven yet, but there's more questions than answers. Brad, and by the way, we see the same thing all the time in the economy. What Brad is showing you is how supposedly, remember the smartest guys, the guys living out in the Hamptons, the Wall Street financiers and all this, you do understand what